Welcome to another Duel Links Decks video. Since we have the newly released Empire of Scarlet minibox, we are going to have a vampire deck. For this deck we are going to use the Beatdown skill. This turn, the attack of all face-up monsters on your field increases by the number of monsters on level 5 or higher on your field times 300. This skill can only be used once per turn. We tried a few possible combinations that could work, and somehow what we have here works great. You could also try a few skills aside from Beatdown, like Straight to the Grave, The Tie That Binds, Power of Dark among others. Let's check out our deck list. First we have 1 or 2 Vampire Scarlet Scourge. If this card is normal or special summon, you can pay 1000 life points, then target one vampire monster in your graveyard, except Vampire Scarlet Scourge, then special summon it, but it cannot attack this turn. You can only use this effect of Vampire Scarlet Scourge once per turn. At the end of the battle phase, if this card destroyed any monster by battle, you can special summon them from the graveyards to your field. Then we have 1 Vampire Lord. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, declare 1 card type, then your opponent sends 1 card of that type from their deck to the graveyard. During your next standby phase after this card in your possession was destroyed and sent to your graveyard by an opponent's card effect, special summon this card from the graveyard. You could replace this with a Vampire Scarlet Scourge or Vampire Grace. This works well with Vampire Kingdom, since it forces the opponent to discard a card. Then we have 3 Gozuki. During your main phase, you can send 1 zombie-type monster from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish 1 zombie-type monster from your graveyard, except Gozuki, then special summon 1 zombie-type monster from your hand. You can only use each effect of Gozuki once per turn. This will be our main summoning engine. It is ideal that we get this on the earlier turns to bring out our monsters. Then we have 2 Vampire Retainer. If this card is special summoned, you can pay 500 life points, then add 1 vampire spell or trap from your deck to your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 vampire card from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard, then special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Vampire Retainer once per turn. Then we have 2 Vampire Familiar. If this card is special summoned, you can pay 500 life points, then add 1 vampire monster from your deck to your hand, except Vampire Familiar. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 vampire card from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard, then special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Vampire Familiar once per turn. Then we have 1 Vampire Grace. When a level 5 or higher zombie-type monster is special summoned to your side of the field by the effect of a zombie-type monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can pay 2000 life points, then special summon this card from your graveyard. You can only use this effect of Vampire Grace once per turn. Once per turn, you can declare 1 card type, then your opponent sends 1 card of that type from their deck to the graveyard. This works very well with Vampire Kingdom, since every turn we are forcing the opponent to send cards from their graveyard, we can destroy 1 card on the opponent's side of the field. Now, let's head to our spells and traps. We have 2 Vampire Kingdom. Zombie-type monsters gain 500 attack during damage calculation only. Once per turn, when a card is sent from your opponent's deck to the graveyard, target 1 card on the field, then send 1 dark vampire monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy that target. Next we have 2 Enemy Controller. Activate one of these effects, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, then change that target's battle position, or tribute 1 monster, then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, take control of that target until the end phase. This works really well with this deck since we are tribute summoning monsters. Then we have 1 Vampire's Desire. Activate one of these effects, target 1 face-up monster you control, then send 1 vampire monster from your deck to the graveyard with a different level from that monster, and if you do, that monster becomes the level of that sent monster until the end of this turn, or target 1 vampire monster in your graveyard, then send 1 monster you control to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon the targeted monster. You can only activate 1 Vampire's Desire per turn. You can replace this with a Vampire's Domain or Vampire Takeover. After that we have 1 or 2 Vampire's Domain. Once per turn, you can pay 500 life points. During your main phase this turn, you can normal summon one vampire monster. In addition to your normal summon or set, you can only gain this effect once per turn. Each time your vampire monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, gain the same amount of life points. This is like a double summon for vampires. With this we can speed up our swarming. Then we have 3 Paleozoic Canadia. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change it to face-down defense position. Once per chain, when a trap card is activated while this card is in your graveyard, special summon this card as a Aqua type level 2 normal monster. If summoned this way, this card is unaffected by monster effects, also banish it when it leaves the field. Since we are doing tribute summons, this could work well in this deck. Finally we have one Vampire Takeover. If you have no card in your field card zone and all face-up monsters you control are zombie type, activate one Vampire Kingdom directly from your deck, then you can special summon one Dark Vampire monster from your graveyard in face-up defense position. You can only activate one Vampire Takeover per turn. That is all for our featured deck. Make sure to watch the replays to get an overall idea on how to play the deck. If you have questions or suggestions, please leave a comment below. For more videos, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Now let's go to our replays.